Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys anime episode review. This time I'm talking about episode 101, so let's get to it. Now before I get to the episode itself, I do want to point out that even though the opening was just swapped in episode 100, it already got an update here in episode 101. The section that features Goh's Pokemon from the Galar region now includes the Gossifleur that he caught in episode 100, which is cool. I love it when the opening and ending themes are updated to reflect the changes in the anime itself. And it's nice that this time it was updated so quickly. Hopefully they keep this up going forward. But onto the actual episode now. So episode 101 begins in the wild area of the Galar region. Ash and Goh are here in the evening. This means that Ash and Goh are here in the Galar region for the third consecutive episode, since they came to the Galar region in episode 99 for Ash's battle with Marnie. They stayed at the Pokemon Center overnight and the next day episode 100 happened. And now, episode 101 begins in what I assume is the day after episode 100. I really love the continuity here. Now, it turns out that they are here now in the wild area so late into the day because they actually spent the entire day in the wild area so that Goh could catch a lot of Pokemon. Now, to be fair, he was supposed to catch a lot of Pokemon in the previous episode, but this apparently did not happen, for some unknown reason, even though Sonia took Goh to an amazing spot for catching Pokemon. I guess that maybe they just spent the entire time talking about Leon, so Goh forgot all about catching Pokemon, and here in episode 101 it did not happen either, since he ended up not catching anything despite spending an entire day in the wild area. But this time the reason for his failure is clear. A flashback reveals that Goh wanted to catch an Applin, but Grookey decided to be a prankster as usual. It used its stick to hit Applin, and Applin ran away before Goh could catch it. I have to say that the way that Grookey laughs after scaring Applin away is both funny and weird. Now, since Goh then says to Grookey, "You are too eager to leap in," I guess that Grookey did the same thing it did to Applin to every Pokemon that Goh tried to catch, which is why Goh caught nothing in the end. Ash then says that they should just call it quits for the day. They should eat dinner, they should then go to sleep early, and they can try again tomorrow. However, the phrase eating dinner gives Goh the idea to use delicious food to lure Pokemon out. Ash says that this is a good idea, and so they prepare a huge pot of curry. They all then proceed to eat the curry like wild animals. After they are full and happy, they realize that they ate all the curry, and thus there is no curry left to use as bait. Pikachu then hears that there is something in the nearby bushes. Goh uses his Pokédex on this something to see what it is, and it turns out that it is a Thwackey, meaning that the curry did lure out at least one Pokemon. Goh says that he has never seen a Thwackey before, and he tells Grookey that Thwackey is its evolved form. Goh then notices that there is something wrong with this Thwackey. It only has one stick, and the Pokédex shows and mentions that Thwackey have two sticks. Thwackey then runs away, but Goh throws a Pokeball at Thwackey in an attempt to catch him. But Thwackey uses his stick to hit the Pokeball, which sends it back to Goh, who gets hit in the face with it. An absolute classic of a moment. So Thwackey keeps running away, while Grookey looks at Thwackey with eyes of admiration. It's funny that Grookey did not seem to care about Thwackey when Goh said, "That's your evolved form." But now that Thwackey hit Goh in the face, Grookey is like, "Oh wow, so cool." It's possible that just seeing Thwackey in action is what led to this sudden admiration. But considering that Grookey enjoys pranking and messing with Goh, I think that it is also possible that Grookey now admires Thwackey because Thwackey was able to troll Goh so effectively. Ash and Goh then sit down to talk about Thwackey. Ash says that Thwackey used its baton to bat the Pokeball. Goh points out that Thwackey have sticks, not batons, and he then mentions that this Thwackey strangely only had one stick instead of two. A hiker overhears the conversation, and he approaches Ash and Goh, wondering if they were also attacked by that one Thwackey. The hiker then says that he is a wild area ingredients vendor. Goh wonders if the hiker sells curry ingredients, and the hiker says that he does. He then drops his backpack so that he can search for the curry ingredients. It's funny that the backpack is so heavy that it shakes the ground when it drops, scaring Pikachu in the process. While looking for the ingredients, the hiker tells Ash and Goh that the Thwackey they saw is notorious for stealing food from the campers in the wild area. The hiker goes on to say that this is where he comes in. He sells ingredients to the campers that are left without food because of Thwackey. The hiker tells Ash and Goh to be careful and he bids them farewell with a sparkling smile straight out of a toothpaste commercial. Using the ingredients that they got from the hiker, Ash and Goh prepare another pot of curry that will serve as bait for Thwackey. Ash and Goh lie in wait inside their tent, while the pot sits outside. Ash does wonder if this plan will work, but Goh believes that it will. And Thwackey is indeed lured out by the scent of the curry. Thwackey gets close to the curry and he uses his stick to inspect and taste the curry, which Thwackey finds delicious. Goh then chooses to take this chance to catch Thwackey, but before he can, Grookey runs off to greet Thwackey. Grookey happily jumps in front of Thwackey, and then Grookey apparently recreates what Thwackey did earlier when he hit the Pokeball in midair. But Grookey fails and it ends up falling to the ground flat on its face. Which is funny, but it's also sad because poor Grookey was just trying to imitate Thwackey. This unfortunate accident leaves Ash and Goh dumbfounded, and it shocks Thwackey. Poor Grookey then raises its head to reveal that its face is red from the impact, and Grookey ends up crying like a baby, which shocks Thwackey even more. However, Thwackey takes Grookey and he grooms Grookey, which makes Grookey calm down. This is just adorable. Ash and Goh are confused when they see this, and Goh uses his Pokedex to learn what is going on. The Pokedex says that Thwackey is grooming Grookey, which is something that Thwackey do for their friends, and that grooming is a sign of friendship and trust. Grookey ends up really enjoying the grooming, which is cute. Grookey then tries to do the exact same thing that it did earlier, but Thwackey stops Grookey this time. Thwackey is like, oh no, don't do it, you're just going to get hurt again. However, Grookey is like, but I wanted to try again, let me go, come on, let me go. Thwackey holds Grookey for a while and then he lets Grookey go. Thwackey then says to Grookey, get on. So Grookey hops onto Thwackey's back and Thwackey runs off into the forest with Grookey on his back, while Ash and Goh follow them. Ash and Goh do lose sight of Grookey and Thwackey at first, but they soon find the two of them sitting on a rock. Thwackey uses his stick to show Grookey how to crack a nut. Now I love that at first, Grookey is like, what is he doing? And Thwackey is like, watch what I do closely now. Grookey is impressed and it tries to crack a nut as well, but it fails, which makes Grookey sad. But Grookey then cheers up when Thwackey cracks another nut, which Thwackey eats half off while sharing the other half with Grookey. Thwackey then positions another nut in front of Grookey so that Grookey can try cracking it. Grookey does try, but it fails once again. Ash and Goh watch from a distance. Ash mentions that Thwackey seems to be teaching Grookey, and Goh says that he has never seen Grookey listening so attentively. That Grookey and Thwackey get along well. That Thwackey might be a good role model for Grookey. So Goh calls out to Thwackey and he invites Thwackey to join his team. He says that instead of staying out here alone, Thwackey should instead be with Grookey, Goh, and their friends. However, just as Goh invites Thwackey, several howls are heard echoing through the forest. These howls come from a group of Thwackey, who soon appear and they surround Ash, Pikachu, Goh, Grookey, and the one-stick Thwackey, who is clearly not happy to see his brethren. And he decides to walk away, though he soon stops when a female Thwackey calls out to him. She has a Grookey on her back, so this is clearly the family of the one-stick Thwackey. A Rillaboom, who is the leader of this pack of Thwackey, then also appears as well. I was reminded of the movie Tarzan here when I saw the main characters being surrounded by a group of apes that are led by a gorilla. Now, the preview for this episode did show that more than one Thwackey would appear in this episode, and that a Rillaboom would appear as well. However, the preview only showed two Thwackey, the one stick Thwackey and the female Thwackey that calls out to him. So it is surprising that so many Thwackey end up appearing in this episode. Also, the preview did show that the female Thwackey had a Grookey on her back, and I thought that this was Goh's Grookey. But it turns out that it is another Grookey, who is the child of the one stick Thwackey and the female Thwackey. This was also a surprise. Now, it is interesting and odd that Goh sees Rillaboom and he says, "Who's that Pokemon?" And he uses his Pokedex on it. Even though Goh saw two Rillaboom in his dream in episode 59, and he also saw a real Rillaboom in episode 99, where Goh even used his Pokedex on the two Toxtricity. But he chose not to use it on Obstagoon or Rillaboom, who were also there. I guess that the Rillaboom here in episode 101 gets such a reaction out of Goh because it is the first Rillaboom that Goh sees that is not a background character or part of a dream. So Rillaboom looks around, I guess trying to discern what is going on with the Thwackey. Because of this, the one stick Thwackey once again shows that it is not happy because of something relating to the other Thwackey. And we soon learn what this something is. The other Thwackey start drumming using the rocks and trees around them. This drumming soon becomes a unified tune that is very catchy. Now, I said before that I was reminded of the movie Tarzan when I saw the Thwackey and the Rillaboom. Well, a musical number just like this would definitely be at home in that movie. I love that this catchy beat makes both Goh's Grookey and the baby Grookey dance happily, and Pikachu soon joins the dance. Even Ash can't help but dance along. The one stick Thwackey, however, is clearly frustrated when he hears this tune. And it does not help that the other Thwackey taunt him. Like, "Ha, I bet you can't drum like this." Annoyed, the one stick Thwackey decides to drum as well. But unfortunately, with just one stick, he does not drum as well as the other Thwackey, and his offbeat tune disrupts the rhythm of the other Thwackey. Eventually, the one stick Thwackey ups the intensity of his drumming, but he still can't keep up, and he eventually tosses his stick in frustration, which ends the drumming session. Goh then realizes what the problem is, that the one stick Thwackey can't keep up with the others with just one stick. Rillaboom is simply like, "Oh boy, well that's no good." The female Thwackey is like, "Don't worry about it, you're fine." And she tries to drag the one stick Thwackey back with her. But he does not agree with her. He is like, "No, it's not fine." He then picks up his stick, and he runs away in frustration, leaving his family behind who are very sad. Ash, Pikachu, Goh, and Grookey search for the one stick Thwackey, and they eventually find him practicing on a rock, using replacements for his missing stick that he finds on the ground. But nothing he picks up works. Ash wonders if they can help Thwackey by finding another stick that is suitable. But Goh says that it's not just about finding a suitable stick, it also must have a certain feel to it. That Thwackey and, I guess by extension, Grookey and Rillaboom can be picky when it comes to their sticks. Grookey then approaches Thwackey and Grookey offers to give its stick to Thwackey. Considering what Goh just said, it's clear that Grookey is giving up something very valuable just so that it can help Thwackey, which is just so touching, especially when you see Grookey's innocent expression, which is just so adorable and precious. Grookey clearly does not mind sacrificing something so important if it means that Thwackey will be happy. Ash and Goh are surprised when they see that Grookey will go so far for Thwackey. Thwackey does seem to accept Grookey's gift at first, but he soon realizes that he knows what it means to lose a stick, so he rejects Grookey's offer. Though unfortunately for poor Grookey, Thwackey rejects Grookey with a slap, which is so not nice. Come on Thwackey, you were so kind earlier. Thwackey then decides to walk away, but he stops when Grookey starts drumming. Though sadly, Grookey is drumming while crying, which is just so heartbreaking. Seeing a Pokemon that is normally so happy and energetic be so sad is truly depressing. Grookey definitely does not deserve to cry like this. To make matters worse, Thwackey turns away from Grookey again. Really, Thwackey? Why do you have to be so mean all of a sudden? Grookey is just trying to help you. Frustrated, Grookey starts drumming even faster, which annoys Thwackey. Grookey's insistent drumming gives Ash and Goh an idea. Thwackey can just drum twice as fast using his one stick to make up for not having a second stick. They both agree that if Grookey can do it, then Thwackey will be able to do it as well and better. So Ash and Goh decide to help Thwackey achieve this with some training. I love that Grookey, with teary eyes, walks up to Thwackey like, "Let us help you please," which is just so cute, and Thwackey does accept the offer. So Ash is fittingly the one that trains Thwackey. Ash has Thwackey chase Pikachu around, the objective being that Thwackey must be fast enough to catch Pikachu. Ash also has Sirfetch'd attack Thwackey, who blocks the attack with his stick. I guess to build up arm strength, and so that Thwackey can learn to handle the stick better. I have to say that seeing Ash train Thwackey so intently, with precise commands and everything, made me wish that Ash would catch Thwackey, but I knew that this would not happen. Since Ash is handling the training, Goh decides to find the food instead. But before he can, Grookey points out that the female Thwackey and her baby Grookey are watching Thwackey's training. They soon notice Goh and his Grookey, so all four of them search for food together. The female Thwackey leads them all to some nanav berries. She has baby Grookey drop down so that she can fetch some berries. I love that Goh's Grookey then plays with the baby Grookey, which is adorable. Goh looks at this adorable moment and he says that's my Grookey, already made a new friend. Goh then recalls some of the moments his Grookey and one stick Thwackey have spent together thus far. Goh realizes that it's not strange that Grookey is so social, since Grookey normally live in groups. I realized in this moment that Goh would likely try to release Grookey by the end of the episode, though I was confident that he would not go through with it. The female Thwackey then gives Goh a bunch of berries, which Goh is thankful for. The female Thwackey and the baby Grookey then show that they are worried about one stick Thwackey. But Goh assures them that Thwackey will be fine, so they should just wait a little longer. Goh then tells Ash about the female Thwackey, while Pikachu, Sirfetch'd, Grookey, and one stick Thwackey eat the berries. After eating, one stick Thwackey shows that he is ready for more training, which delights Ash. Again, showing that they have a good Pokemon and trainer dynamic/relationship already. So, Thwackey battles Sirfetch'd, who easily sweeps Thwackey off his feet. And I love that Thwackey then uses Tail Whip to taunt Sirfetch'd, who angrily chases after Thwackey, though Thwackey avoids every attack from Sirfetch'd, and Thwackey fights back by hitting Sirfetch'd's sword. Ash and Goh are confused by this since they don't know what Thwackey is doing, but Goh says that it looks like sword fighting, and Ash says that it looks like fun. Therefore, Ash and Goh decide to join this new training, and I love the way that they run here because it is just so funny and wacky. Also, I have definitely seen running like this before, in at least one other anime. So, Ash has Sirfetch'd attack Thwackey, who uses his stick to parry the attack. Ash also has Pikachu attack Thwackey with Iron Tail, and Thwackey once again deflects the attack with his stick. Goh then has Greedent use Bullet Seed, which Thwackey blocks with his stick. Thwackey then successfully avoids being swept by Sirfetch'd, and Thwackey also successfully catches Pikachu. Thwackey then overpowers both Pikachu and the Sirfetch'd together, which is impressive, yes, and it makes the female Thwackey and the baby Grookey happy, and it also makes Ash, Goh, and the Goh's Grookey happy. But this does make Pikachu and the Sirfetch'd look bad, because they were defeated while attacking together by a wild Pokemon. The next day, Thwackey is practicing his drumming early in the morning, while Ash, Pikachu, Goh, and the Goh's Grookey sleep. Thwackey begins slowly, but he soon recalls his training, and he starts drumming very fast and with intensity, which wakes everyone else up. I love how their eyes pop out when they wake up, because it's a very funny reaction. They all then watch the result of Thwackey's training. Ash and Goh are happy when they see that the training paid off. Howls are then heard echoing through the jungle once again. It turns out that Thwackey is being called by his brethren. So Thwackey heads towards them to show off what he can now do. One stick Thwackey soon appears in front of the other Thwackey and Rillaboom, ready to drum on a rock he brought along. The female Thwackey and the baby Grookey are happy when they see this. Ash, Pikachu, Goh, and Goh's Grookey encourage One Stick Thwackey, and they stand ready to watch the performance. The other Thwackey start drumming away, which leads to another catchy jungle-themed melody that again reminds me of Tarzan. Honestly, I would not be surprised if they actually took inspiration from Tarzan for this episode. One Stick Thwackey is able to keep up with the other Thwackey, which delights Ash, Pikachu, Goh, Goh's Grookey, the female Thwackey, and baby Grookey. Rillaboom is also happy with the result, so much so in fact that Rillaboom joins the performance, which makes the already catchy tune even catchier. It's honestly difficult or downright impossible not to dance at least a little to this music. In fact, Ash shows exactly what I was doing during this part, and I am sure that other people did the same thing as well. The performance makes the trees and flowers in the area grow, showing the power that the Grookey evolution line has with their music, which is something that Goh's Grookey has shown us before. After the performance is over, One Stick Thwackey is surrounded by Rillaboom, the other Thwackey, and baby Grookey, who are all happy because One Stick Thwackey can now drum so well. Ash then comments that while Goh wanted to catch Thwackey before, surely he does not feel like catching it now. Goh, however, does not say anything in response, though it is clear that Ash is right. Ash then points out that Grookey is very happy as well. Goh agrees with a sad tone and expression. At this point, while watching the episode, I knew exactly what Goh is thinking right here. He is clearly thinking that Grookey would be better off staying here. One Stick Thwackey then approaches them. Ash and the Pikachu praise Thwackey. I love that Goh's Grookey happily imitates Thwackey's drumming, which makes Thwackey happy. And Thwackey's like, yeah, that's how you drum, good job. Thwackey then goes back to where the other Thwackey and Rillaboom are. Grookey follows Thwackey initially, but Grookey soon stops, and Grookey gets ready to turn back. But Goh says that Grookey can't stay if it wants to. I knew that Goh would try to do this, but I also knew that it would not happen, and indeed, Grookey jumps onto Goh's head, and Grookey starts grooming Goh, who recalls that grooming is a sign of friendship and trust, meaning that Grookey definitely wants to stay with Goh. So Goh says that he will keep trying to be a great partner for Grookey, and that they should keep getting along. The episode then ends with Ash, Pikachu, Goh, and Grookey happily walking away, knowing that they did something good, while the Thwackey and Rillaboom watch them from a distance. So overall, this was a great episode. I love that we got to see the entire Grookey evolution line in this episode. It was cool to see them all interact, and we got to learn more about them. Goh's Grookey was absolutely adorable throughout the episode, and its interactions with One Stick Thwackey were really wholesome, cute, and heartwarming. It was nice to see Grookey be serious and mature for once. Grookey also had an objective other than being a prankster for once. So we got to see a different Grookey in this episode, which is a nice change of pace. Though only time will tell if Grookey actually matured, developed, or grew as a character because of this experience. Seeing the normally happy and energetic Grookey be so sad was also different, though this is not a good change. It's a change that I don't want to see again, because poor Grookey does not deserve such sorrow. It was honestly heartbreaking to see Grookey like this. Also, Grookey was not released in this episode, nor did it evolve, just like I expected. And I am in favor of both of these outcomes, because I don't want to see Grookey gone, and I think that it is fine if Grookey never evolves. It was also cool to see Sirfetch'd get some more screen time, even if it wasn't for anything amazing, and Sirfetch'd was ultimately defeated by Thwackey. This just makes Sirfetch'd look bad, which is unfortunate, especially considering that if anything, Sirfetch'd deserves to look good. It deserves some redemption, but thankfully that will come in the future. Like I said earlier, I did think during the episode that there was potential for Ash to catch Thwackey, given how well Ash trained Thwackey. But I knew that this would not happen mainly because Thwackey has a family. So in the end, I am okay with the fact that Ash did not catch Thwackey. I also really love the amazing music that this episode provided, which again reminded me of Tarzan, which is a movie that I like and a movie that I have fond memories of. So yeah, this episode was truly great, and I really did enjoy it a lot. Honestly, my only gripe with the episode is that we never learned why one stick Thwackey only had one stick, because I really am curious about this. Did the stick break? Did Thwackey lose it? Was it stolen by another Pokemon? Did Thwackey only have one stick from the beginning, meaning that it evolved from Grookey and it only had one stick upon evolution? I really wanted to know what happened to the other stick. Sure, maybe this is not that important, and it really has no bearing on the story of this episode. But it is still something that had me and still has me curious. Though this does not detract too much from what was again a great and enjoyable episode. But that's the video, as always. Leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.